Hey Geeks! We're back with another sci-fi review, this time reviewing the sci-fi original series The Expanse, Season 2, Episode 8, titled Pyre.
If you haven't seen this episode, you're going to want to skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler.
So, starting off with Naomi, after finding out that Cortazar has been talking to a protomolecule, she's gotta be shitting bricks now.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know what protomolecule he's talking to. It might be the one that she stashed and was supposed to destroy and didn't.
Yeah. So she's like freaking out and checking on the missile, and I thought for sure she was gonna launch the missile secretly, and I can't believe she hasn't yet.
Yeah. And she volunteers to go out with Drummer to check the antennas to find out exactly what signal Cortazar was talking to, where the signal was coming from. And it turns out it was from Ganymede. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was, in fact, the missile, the protomolecule that Naomi was supposed to have destroyed. But also, I wasn't really surprised that it was Ganymede. It was kind of a 50-50 shot. Either way, the story works.
Yeah. And the fact that it was Ganymede proves that that monster was, in fact, protomolecule.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how I feel about Naomi's story right now, because I really like Naomi and Holden together, and the fact that this is this underlying tension on her part now. What if Holden finds out that she didn't destroy the protomolecule? That's going to destroy their relationship, because she is on his ass all the time about you gotta pick a side. Well, nobody's more kind of undecided on what side they want to be on than Naomi, really. Like, is she 100% on Holden's side? Not really, or she would have destroyed the protomolecule. Next, I want to talk about Amos. It seems like Alex is kind of cool with Amos now. Like, he approaches him and asks him for some help, and then wants to kind of talk to him about whatever's going on with him. But it gets personal. Alex shoves Amos, and Amos damn near killed him.
Yeah.
And, I got to thinking about it while we were watching it, and I'm like, it's not that Amos has an especially bad temper. I think his fight or flight instinct is messed up, and he goes to fight, and he goes to fight to the extreme. It's not like an anger thing, because he didn't really seem angry.
Yeah, he wasn't really angry.
Yeah.
He was just, when he defends himself, it's to the death.
Yeah. So, I'm really interested. I'm kind of fascinated by Amos at this point, because there's some reason why he has these over-the-top reactions.
Yes,
and
there is.
I really want to find out what it is. Like, was he experimented on? Don't tell me.
Do not answer these questions. It's hypothetical. He has me. If he really wanted to know the answer, he has me. I've read the books.
Yeah. Like, was he experimented on or something? Was he lobotomized and they messed around with his fight or flight instincts, with his reflexes? Oh my gosh, I'm fascinated by this character, and I can't wait to learn more, but don't tell me.
And now let's move on to Drummer, who had me fooled this whole episode because I don't recall this specific storyline from the book. Maybe it's in there and it just not that memorable to me. But I don't know, I was kind of suspicious of her the entire episode. I was like, did she help Dawes? Is she leaking information to that little group, that subgroup on Tycho Station? Like, I was convinced that she was betraying him. And, she took a bullet for him.
In last week's episode, it did seem like Dawes used her to get to find out about Diogo.
Yeah.
But in this episode, I feel like her loyalty to Fred Johnson is pretty much unimpeachable at this point.
Yeah.
Like you said, she took a bullet for the man. Drummer is emerging as a really interesting side character, and I hope she gets more screen time here coming up, because just her in this episode, she was amazing. Like, just her, for instance, the scene where the OPA group breaks into the bridge, and she takes a bullet, and, I'm like, oh, well, Drummer's going to die this episode, of course. Mm-hmm. She's a side character. Of course they're going to go ahead and just go ahead and kill her off. But no, she survives, and then as Alex is, like, helping her up to the med bay, she pulls his gun, executes two of the OPA guys, and then walks off under her own power. Total fucking pimp walked away, and it was awesome. I totally ship Drummer and Amos.
I do now too.
I think they would make the perfect couple. And of course, this episode was mostly about a brand new character, Meng, and Oh my gosh, what an amazing, tragic story Meng has. Like, first of all, when they spaced the inners, the refugees from Ganymede Station,
Yeah,
he was
holy
the
crap.
only belter. He was born and raised on Ganymede, so he was the only belter. Everybody else got spaced, and that was such a shock to me, even though the Expanse does this kind of stuff all the freaking time, and I never see it coming. Just stupid me, but holy crap. And it went from this really sweet moment where the gravity has been lifted, and they're floating, and they're looking at each other, and it's kind of romantic, it's really sweet, and then whoosh, the atmosphere gets sucked out, the doors open, and there she goes.
And they suffocate.
Yeah.
Go you, Expanse, for being like the only correct adaptation of how you would die in space.
Like every other science fiction thing would have their eyes popping out and their
Yeah.
heads exploding.
Or
No.
freezing,
Or
they'd turn into ice.
like
and
they would freeze like that.
Yeah, and
no,
it's like, no, you would suffocate.
But like Neil deGrasse Tyson, I mean, we've watched a fair amount of Star Talk and various interviews and stuff with him, and that's the one thing that we've heard him say multiple times is you would suffocate way before you would freeze in space. And the last thing I want to mention for this episode is Johnson has basically banned Holden and company from Tycho Station unless they bring back a sample of the protomolecule from Ganymede Station, which of course Holden's not going to do.
Yeah, no way.
So, but then Holden kind of gets him. He goes, "Well, are you sure you're going to be in charge by the time I get back?" And I'm like, "Oh, zing, burn." So it's going to be really interesting because I mean, Holden and Johnson are probably the most likely to be allies, but then Johnson's just got a bug up his ass about the protomolecule.
Yeah,
And whereas I think he could find a lot more common ground with Holden, he's just unwilling to. Hopefully he comes around.
Yeah.
Right, I'm pretty sure that's all we have for this video, right?
I think so.
If you have anything to add, please let us know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, tell us by dropping a like on it, share this video on Facebook or Twitter, and subscribe if you haven't already.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.